When you looked at the movement, arguably the stablecoin bill, the rulemaking around it, is one of the biggest things to happen in the world of crypto in the United States. What do you think this bill ultimately does? To the extent that it gets passed, what does it unlock for you?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. This bill will unlock very much clarity on the stablecoin role for the future of the US dollar hegemony and how it should be managed in a very safe and serious way. So we are very excited because, as you know, Tether is the company that created the stablecoin industry in 2014. We issued the first stablecoin that's called USDT, and we have the biggest user base when it comes to stablecoins. Across the world, we have more than 400 million people using USDT in emerging markets in developing countries, and we are growing at 40 million new wallets per quarter. So the fact that our technology is being now subject of huge interest also from the Treasury and the President himself, it's very important to us. We want just to make sure that we are heard because we represent the biggest use case for the digital US dollar represented by stablecoins in the world.
And Paolo, while we're on the topic of Washington, D.C., you recently posted a photo of yourself at the White House. Were you actually in attendance at the White House Crypto Summit?
No, I wasn't not in the attendance of the summit, but that was my first trip in the United States ever. And I'm very thrilled to be here, and I love the country. So, I had to do a little bit of photo taking around the capital.
I get it, tourist stuff. I've taken a few photos like that myself, but I am curious, while you were in the vicinity of the White House, did you meet with any lawmakers?
Absolutely. We have been having different meetings with lawmakers and the administration. It's very important that our voice is properly heard because, as I said, we represent the most important use case for the US dollar hegemony around the world. We build kiosks in Africa that facilitate the usage of USDT and so US dollars. We work with bodegas in Central South America. We are present with boots on the ground, building infrastructure for the US dollar from the ground up in all the emerging markets. And the interesting thing is that there is Tether there, and basically there are the breaks. And I believe that USDT in this moment is representing the last stronghold in support of the US dollar in the emerging markets, when everywhere else we're seeing a very big push for de-dollarization of the world coming from the BRICS nations.
Paolo, I am pretty stunned to hear that you had not visited the nation's capital, let alone had more of a presence in the United States. I understand that there has been a fits and starts relationship, but you also have had a very strong relationship as Tether with the current Commerce Secretary's, I guess, former firm, now the firm he founded, Cantor Fitzgerald. What is your relationship still like with Lutnick and currently with Cantor as that relationship has been expanding? And what does that relationship give you in terms of insight into the future of crypto in this country?
Well, our relationship with Cantor is very strong. We are very grateful to the fact that they onboarded us in a period when the past administration in the United States just tried to almost kill crypto, right? You remember Operation Choke Point 2.0 and the rest. And so Cantor took the time to have and do the deepest due diligence on Tether that is inimaginable. And they got comfortable with us. They decided to onboard us and allow us to keep all our treasury bills with them. So we are very grateful, and we work with them as partners because they understand the institutional space in the U.S. like no one else.
Well, when it comes to the future of that relationship, Bloomberg News had reported that you were in talks with Cantor to join in on their lending partner, on their project, rather. Is that partnership still underway? Is that something that you might tack onto?
Well, Bitcoin lending is very interesting to us and very important. I believe that there are huge opportunities, and joining forces between Tether and Cantor is the right thing to do. They know all the institutional borrowers, and we are the leaders in the space of tokenization on assets, and also we are among the biggest companies in the Bitcoin space. So it just makes sense.
Paolo, I just wonder, why you're based in El Salvador and spending time in Switzerland when you have a US dollar stablecoin. You have a US flag there on your lapel. Why don't you do your work out of the United States of America if the underlying asset is our dollar?
That's a great point. But, the reason is that if you go outside the US and you meet 1,000 people in the streets and you ask them, would you prefer to hold the US dollar or would you prefer to hold your national currency? They will all choose dollar. So actually in the US, you have 15 ways to pay people around, right? You have Zelle, Cash App, PayPal, you name it, right? Debit cards, credit cards. You can take loans out of credit cards. You have bank accounts. You have 95% of the population that is banked. Outside the US, there are 3 billion people that are called unbanked or underbanked. They don't have access to standard financial systems. They don't have any ways to pay, and they're desperate to have the dollar. Right. So as any company, you have to find your product market fit, and that is the unbanked for us. And we created a great business that is helping the United States buying back all the T-bills that we can. We have more than $115 billion in US treasuries. We are 19th largest country. We are not a country, of course, and holding T-bills.